Hi, everyone. Anyone else wearing a tie here tonight, or just me? One per there. Oh, there we go. All right, Jimmy. So this is listed as a Devar Torah as well as an annual report. So let me start with a couple words of Torah. Emmanuel, as in Temple Emmanuel, it comes from the Hebrew word Emanuel, which is the way that we say God is with us. That didn't make, by the way, for a good name of a congregation, temple, God is with us. So we went with the Hebrew on it, or at least an Anglicization of it. Built into our temple's name is the idea that God is always a presence in what we do, and God is there for us no matter the situation. Our tradition does teach us that in any relationship, there's always one additional partner, a partner with a capital P, and that's God's sacred presence. Emanuel, God is with us. And I often have that feeling here at Temple. Maybe you share that too. I feel it quite deeply right now as I'm about to speak about the past year and look forward to the future, as well as at this time that you're considering keeping me here as your senior rabbi for the next decade. This truly is an awesome moment. And I will say this, that no matter the size of the gatherings that we have or the occasion, Emmanuel, this temple, God, however we understand God, is with us and there for us. So on that note, I want to speak to three trends from this past year at Temple Emmanuel. Trend number one, further restoring the fullness of our congregation. In other words, returning some of the things that we so treasure to our congregational, let's call it, toolbox. So many answered our call to return and be back together at Temple for the fall holidays. Our spaces were full, and so were our hearts. To add to this, I am so grateful to our leadership in Temple that after a long and understandably important wait, we were able to celebrate Rabbi Gutman's service to Temple and retirement at a gala event this last summer. He was so deserving of being this year's Book of the New Year recipient, and I'm so grateful that we showed up in our fullness to celebrate him. But that's not all. Our signature Shabbats, such as MLK Shabbat, were back in full swing. We were able to host the new superintendent of Guilford County Schools, Dr. Whitney Oakley, for a memorable Friday night service here. Moreover, our educational and our experiential programs are back now in their fullness. For the second year in a row, we highlighted a book for us to read and discuss as a congregation. This year's title was Yossi Klein Halevi's Letters to My Palestinian Neighbor. Thanks to the Sisterhood's Book Club and to our sisterhood for all that you do and for hosting this initiative and event. Adult education, Chevra Torah, those remain robust. Rabbi Fisher will touch on these aspects of Temple life and also speak to our Kesher educational program, as well as our teen initiatives in her remarks coming up soon. Here's what else returned as we restored who we are. Things like group travel to Israel. I want to give kudos to the 5 Temple High School teams who spent the summer of 2022 in Israel. And I will say this to them, you were an inspiration to the 25 adults who went on Temple's congregational trip to Israel this past February. We were there for our congregational trip at a very important time for Israel as well as for us. Check out or revisit Temple's Facebook page from late February if you want more details. But I do want to thank right now Amy Epstein. Amy, for your vision, your leadership, and your work planning this trip. And thanks to everyone who made this experience so memorable. Go ahead and give them a big round of applause. We also brought back our involvement in the March of the Living this year. 6 Temple juniors and seniors, plus Dr. Kendra Ross, together with extended connections from throughout the Mid-Atlantic, took this life-impacting Jewish journey. For my part, I was honored to lead a March of the Living for the first time, bringing a group from our area there for the first time since 2019. And I'm so grateful to Rabbi Gutman for his work and for teaching me how to do this, as well as to the individuals and to the Greensboro Jewish Federation who have supported this program for so long. Please continue to be generous in your support of the March of the Living in the future as we not only sustain this effort, but grow it going forward. I would be remiss if I didn't mention the full return of the Jewish festival this spring and echo what Paul had said earlier. Barry, Erica, even the brief rain couldn't stop the successful relaunch of our full festival. You and your team were awesome. Give them a very big hand. So if that's trend number one, I want to talk about trend number two for just a moment. Not only have we as a temple restored elements of our past, but we've also continued to be an innovating congregation, and that's going to be critical to who we are in the coming years. I love how we reconfigured Simchat Torah last fall so that we could celebrate simchas that were muted during the early years of COVID. We have also innovated Lag BaOmer, formerly a little-known moment on the Jewish calendar. It is now Temple's cookout night. Thank you, Temple Brotherhood members, for your role in that gathering and a long list of other ways that you have enhanced Temple's life. We are truly grateful. Give the Brotherhood, please, a big round of applause. And let me quickly mention a few more of the many innovations that are growing at Temple. We have a group called Aviv, which is doing great work. We have a cooking club and our newest entry, Trivia Night. Look for that in the coming weeks and months. And let's not forget that we, Temple Emanuel, were essential in founding and funding of the Shin Shinim program here in Greensboro, something that Rabbi Fisher will address in greater details in her remarks. So that's trend number two. Trend number three, this is the last one I want to look at that I want to mention, is the area of caring. Caring for others as well as caring for our own people. There are big issues in our world, in our state, and even in our own backyard. Thanks to all who have been involved in Temple's efforts on behalf of new immigrants, especially our welcoming team. Josh and Kathy have done such a great job for so long, and Terry Goldberg has been our point person on a wide range of issues, including criminal justice reform and affordable housing. As Reformed Jews, our congregants take Tikkun Olam seriously. So do Rabbi Fisher and I, and we know that we have serious work ahead of us. I know this is Temple Senior Rabbi, and I feel even more so in my role as co-chair together with Rabbi Judy Schindler of Charlotte of the recently formed North Carolina Jewish Clergy Association. Our voices, our important voices, will be heard as we go forward, caring for others, but we also care for our own. That's why Rabbi Fisher and I continue to make well and caring visits to you and your families. That's why we are there for you as we celebrate life's greatest moments, like a new member of the family, a conversion, a wedding, and so much more. We feel God's presence with us then, but God's presence also comforts us, as has happened so many times last year when a loved one passes. And that's why I'm so grateful to Temple's Chesed Committee, to our Chevra Kadisha. That's why I'm also very, very thankful to Renee Miller and Wendy Cutler for the advanced care planning session that we held this year. And that is why Brenda Henley, we all lift up what you do for Temple. Please give everybody, I've mentioned it, so many more, a show of your appreciation. Thank you. There is one more element of caring. We have to care about ourselves, especially in light of the rise of anti-Semitism here and abroad. As Hanukkah approached this past year, I reached out to local church and community leaders. Send me 2 brief sentences, I asked them. Each night of Hanukkah, I had this crazy idea that I would put like a new statement on one of the branches of our outdoor menorah. I figured we might get 8, maybe fewer responses. But Greensboro, as you know, never disappoints. Not only did we fill all the branches of that menorah once with statements, but we ran out of room as we did it a second time. It was quite impressive, and I'm so grateful to our partners in the larger community. So those are our big trends. We brought back most of what we paused during COVID. We've innovated, all while continuing to care for ourselves and others. And as a result, we've grown. We're now a congregation of 584 member families, including affiliates. How does that compare to the last few years? Simply stated, it's larger. That name Emanuel reminds us that no one ever truly operates in isolation, not any of us individually or together as 584 member families. And that is true also for Dr. Jerry Plofsky and Sharon Moran, who head our very dedicated membership committee. Let's again thank them for their efforts. And my sense is that we as a temple will continue to grow. To do so, we cannot rest on what we've done in the past. I'm hoping to stand here next year to tell you about a few new trends. Here's what they will likely be. Number one, a renewed focus on family gatherings. We will be taking next steps in this area that has always been a point of temple strength, building upon time-honored ideas while also moving forward and changing as we should. Second, attracting the next generation. Many of the young adults and families living in our area grew up at temple or were temple adjacent. But even if they weren't, let's make sure that we are with them as they chart a path forward for themselves, their friends, and their families. If we do our jobs right, temple members in the mid-2050s will be talking about this community the way that we today talk about what everyone was doing back in the mid-1990s. We have it within our strength and our opportunity to do so. And third, last but not least, partnership. Don't be surprised if we pioneer a trip to DC for Jewish juniors and seniors and their non-Jewish African-American peers in the coming spring. That is something that we are working on right now. But there is more. The stability that we have at Temple and our leadership is so important, especially as our area will be welcoming new Jewish professionals, including a new senior rabbi at Beth David and a new federation director in the coming months, something that hasn't happened in over 35 years. I want to see further productive partnerships together with new ways to support what we value most, promoting Jewish education, involvement, and growth. And so my closing words tonight are words of gratitude to our temple board and to our amazing staff. Paul Benson, I echo what you said before, the mutual feeling. And your first year as Temple's president has been instrumental in everything that I have listed here tonight and so much more. Paul, thanks to you, to Temple's executive committee, and to everyone on Temple's board. And thank you also to our past presidents for continuing to be a source of encouragement, dedication, and support. Let's give them a big hand. Every community, every temple should have a staff like ours. Please join me in thanking, and just hold off on applause for a couple minutes because it's a really great list. Thanking Cassie Silverman for adeptly leading our early childhood program, her and her teachers. Shira Snyder, our highly talented program associate. Natasha Koblieva, our trustworthy comptroller. Dima and Lorena, who maintain our facility with an extra measure of TLC. Bob Bonazia, and so many others for having our backs and providing us with security. Brenda Henley, I know that so many join me in thanking you for all that you do and that you have done for so long. Thank you to Tira Dye, my administrative assistant, who is somewhat new to our staff, but has quickly risen to the occasion. You heard already about Brooklyn Flat. Thanks to her, in addition to her invaluable work with Kesher, she took on the administrative details essential to the smooth running of the March of the Living, and I personally am so grateful for that. Thank you to our cantorial soloist, Mitchell Summers, to CJ for his accompaniment during services, and to Dana Betterson, who is now on her way to realizing her dream of becoming a cantor. And where's Jacob Gers? Right over there next to the, give him a big hand. A high school junior. Actually, let's graduate. A high school, rising senior, right? Who is the master of making sure that week in and week out, we sound good in Temple and also reflect that in our live streams. Give everybody a big round of applause. And I have more. Laura Denhart. I'm not sure that I have ever met anyone who is as dedicated to Jewish life as you are. We are so blessed that you continue to share your expertise and your heart with our community as our executive director. Please give her a big hand. Being a rabbi, I will tell you, is a very high calling. I'm also told that it has its share of challenges. There are those who see rabbis as being in competition with one another. And then there are those of us who prefer a model of collaboration and cooperation. Rabbi Libby Fisher is as collaborative and as cooperative as they come. She's also as smart as can be, as cool as can be, and a truly accessible Jewish role model. Thank you for the work that we do together. We're so blessed that you're here in Greensboro. Toda Rabbi for making all that we do individually and collaboratively emanate goodness, blessing, and God's presence. And I always reserve my last words of gratitude for Michal, who I think is at home tonight watching us on the live stream. And she's known me forever, it seems. And she's my source. Yeah, give her a big round of applause. My source of strength, ongoing renewal, and inspiration. Thanks to her and our adult children, Abishai and Shiri, I am in a position to do what I do. Yeah, give them a big hand too, thanks. I feel myself so blessed to be in the position to do what I do and love what I do each and every moment. All of us as a family, the Korens, we thank you so much for letting us be part of your lives. It really means the world to us. What an amazing year this has been. May God continue to be a presence in our community, Emanuel, in our community, in our lives, blessing us as we take our next steps towards ever better and ever brighter moments, moments that we will spend together. And let's all say, Amen. Thank you.